If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know we've been talking about the loss of sanity in the Conservative Party for quite some time. Quite some time. And I always said in the run up to sort of the last general election, one of the big advantages and one of the big positives that we could really take advantage of is the fact that at least potentially for the next decade, the Tories are just not going to be in any fit state to fight or even win any general elections because they're still going to labor under this massive delusions about why they lost. And I don't know how many times we've covered this on my channel. The entire why we lost category of videos we've been covering. All the potential next leadership candidates, not really addressing any of the actual reasons why they lost, because until they can actually do that, really look at that and give them a genuine self look in the mirror and really say, actually, this is where we went wrong, this is how we can fix it, there is no coming back. There is no coming back. And remember, by the looks of it, if you look at the polls, it really does look like they are either going to elect, for some ungodly reason, Robert Jerrick, the man who is called Generic Jerrick by his own, party members, or they're going to elect Kimmy Badenoch, who think it's perfectly fine to, have an argy-bargy with the Speaker of the House. So how do they fix this? How do they do this? Well, they've got to have a proper self-respective look at themselves. And that ain't happening. That ain't happening at all. But not only this, interesting YouGov poll today, which we're going to go over, which is why Tory members think they lost. And then I like this, what YouGov did. They then asked the general public, why do you think the Tories lost? And you are going to see a gap so wide, it is bigger than bigger than the Grand Canyon, bigger than the Marianas Trench. It's unbelievable how far they think they are. And yet, you can go on Conservative Home and you can see people writing about how they think they'll ride back at the next general election and they'll win and take it all again. So before we get on into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, you can click on the like, the share, and of course, don't forget to click on the bell, the subscribe button, give him a good slap, as they say. And of course, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel. And of course, you can always leave a comment down below as well. So let's crack on in this then. With YouGov, why do Tory members think the party lost the 2024 general election? So let's have a look. So these are their lists, but we're really going to go over the top 5, as you'll see in a moment, but we'll quickly run down them all. So the top one, 16%, think there was far too much infighting and disunity. 12 is they failed to tackle immigration. The next one, number 3, is at 10%. They failed to deliver on their promises. The next, fourth one, 7%. They were in power for too long. People wanted change. And finally, upholding no core conservative values at 6%. Sounds a lot like we've been hearing, except, of course, failed to deliver on promises. Been in power too long. No MP, where I think that we've seen so far, or at least potential leadership candidate, would ever admit to that. And of course, something that is very much in vogue amongst the Conservative Party, we weren't conservative enough. So what else do they say? Do they think the reasons why they lost? So again, at 5% here, they lost public trust, lost trust and confidence now in the party, lack of competence / increased complacency in the party, lack of leadership, I'll agree with them on that. Failed to listen to members / voters at 4%. Rishi Sunak was not a capable leader. I'll agree with them on that. Reform UK split the Conservative vote at 4%. Liz Truss and the failed mini budget at 4%. Again, so low. The cost of the COVID-19 pandemic at 3%. Cost of the COVID-19 pandemic. Poor unprofessional behaviour during the campaign at 3%. Boris Johnson's unacceptable behaviour and Partygate at 3%. Getting rid of Boris Johnson was a mistake at 2%. My God. Still, a portion of the Conservative Party still thinks getting rid of Boris Johnson was a mistake. And then, of course, finally, the party failed to deliver on Brexit, 1%. And remember, this is people of the Conservative Party. These are Conservative Party members who are voting on, or who are participating in this. So let's see, given their top 5 versus what the general voting public thinks, because this is fascinating. So we've already been through the top 5. What were the top 5 you think for the general public? Well, for the Conservative Party members, they said their top 1 was why they lost was too much internal infighting, disunity in the party. What did the British voting public say? They said they were in power for too long. People wanted change. Top 1 for the second one for the Conservatives, failed to tackle immigration. What was it for the British public? They left the country in a mess and were not fit to manage the country. You can already see a bit of a gap between here. Can already see a bit of a gap. Third one, failed to deliver on key promises, key issues. For the British public, they said they were liars, useless, and corrupt. I suppose you could say, maybe there's a bit of mirroring in that one between those two. Who knows? But yeah, just blows my mind to see how far they were away on this. The fourth one, in power for too long, people want to change. The British public said people lost trust and confidence in the party. And the final one, not upholding conservative values. The final one with them, they were completely out of touch with the public and only care about themselves. I think that sends a very, very large message. That should be sending a very, very large message to any of the potential leadership candidates that everything they've been saying, everything they've all been running their campaign on, good for the party members because, unity and all that, but how they achieve unity, they still haven't said. And what if someone breaks with that unity? How are they going to, deal with that, Meanwhile, the British public is like, yeah, no, these people were unfit. They left the country in a mess. They were liars. We couldn't trust them, and they're completely out of touch with the public. I can only stretch my arm so wide. Does not even, I think, encompass the gap between where the British public is and where the Tory party membership is. And that's why I always say we go and have a look at what Conservative Home has to say on these topics, because it is a window into the Conservative Party membership. And we've been seeing just how wacky and crazy these guys have been for a long time. A long, long time on this one. But yeah, my word. They ain't coming back anytime soon. They ain't coming back anytime soon whatsoever. If you look at that poll, they have learned absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can even tell by the fact that the Conservative Party MPs consider Robert Jerrick, the man who many of them called generic Jerrick, and has all those scandals following him. Oh yeah, he'd be a good party leader. So, as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.